So, hello everybody, in this video we will try to understand the implementation of different variables. So, in the last video we have discussed different types of variables, local variable, static variable and instance variable. So, let us understand the requirement of static variable and instance variable along with the differences, right, and also we will understand the flow of program in Java. So, let us say this is your Java program. I have created a simple class bank account in which I am having one instance variable account number and one static variable IFSC. So, you know that a static variable is something which is shared by all the objects. So, let us say this is your static variable and this is your instance variable. So, when you run a Java program, what happens, right? You might have gone through the steps of JVM. So, JVM, first of all, class loader is used to load the class is loaded. Then there is a bytecode verifier. Bytecode verifier will verify your bytecode for any kind of intrusion, and then the execution engine will execute your program. So, when execution engine will execute your program, so first of all, as soon as you write Java bank account, so what is going to happen? All the static members of the class will be created even before the main function. I am talking about what is happening before the call of main function. First of all, JVM will look into your class and it will check if there is any static member. If a static member is there, it will create the static member in the class area. The first step is creation of all the static members in the class area. So, it means it will check, okay, this is a static member. So, it will create in the class area. So, this is your class area. So, in the class area it will create a variable IFSC, right. So, IFSC variable will be created in the class area. First step, all the static members are created. Then second step is it will check we have any static block or not. There is a static block in your class that you can define. So, static block is used to initialize the static data members, right. So, if you have any static block, so it will run the static block and it will initialize the static variables. But here we have not got any kind of a static variable, so it will be initialized to null, because IFSC is a static variable of string type and string type of variable will get the default value null. So, here it will assign it value null, fine. So, first two steps before the main function. Now, your main function will be executed. Now, what you are writing in the main function? So, let us say I am writing the code in the main function to create an object of this class bank account. So, I will create the object of bank account. So, I am writing here bank account, this is your class name, its reference variable, let us say B1 is equal to create the object. Let us understand this. As soon as you write bank account B1, so what will happen? This B1 as a reference variable is created, right. Then I have to create the object. This is not an object, this is a reference variable, right. I have to create the object. So, how you create the object? You will create the object with this statement, new bank account. So, new bank account, new will allocate the memory, it means object will be created here in the heap, object will be created in the heap area, and as soon as you write new, new will allocate the memory and it will return the address of the object that you have created. So, this address has to be assigned here in the reference variable. So, it is a kind of pointer which will point to this object, right. And in this object what will be created? All the instance variables will be created inside this object. So, this constructor will look into your class, what is there in your class as an instance member. So, what is there? Only one account number. Let us say I create one more, let us say I am creating one more instance variable double balance. So now it will create two attributes, two instance variable inside this object. One will be your balance and one will be your account number. So it will be like this, balance and account number, right? Let me write it again. Right. So these are two instance variables. Now who is going to initialize these instance variables? Constructor. But have you written any constructor? No. So what will happen? Default value will be given because these are instance variables. So what will be the default value of this balance? Balance is of int type, default value is 0, and account number is of int type, balance is of float type, to 0.0, and account number is of int type, so it will be 0, right. So I am having one bank account object reference B1. So B1 will be having all the three attributes, balance, account number as well as IFSC. This IFSC will be shared with this object, right. So if you print here, let us say I am printing the value of B1 dot balance, what you will get? 0.0. If you are writing B1 dot account number, it is 0. If I am writing B1 dot IFSC, null. So null will be achieved here. Similarly, if I create one more object here, so what will happen? One more object let us create here. So I am just erasing it here. I am writing bank account B2 is equal to new bank account, right. So one more bank account object will be created B2, and this is pointing to this memory which is having balance and account number, and this is also sharing the same class variable. So this is the difference between the instance variable and the class variable. You can check this first object is having its own balance and account number, and second object is having its own balance and account number. But this IFSC, which is a class variable, it will be shared by all the objects, right. And now if you want to see the changes, so what you can do here is, if let us say I am saying that B2 dot balance is equal to 500. So is it allowed? 500 is int type, I am assigning to the double type. So widening will be taking place. I have already discussed in the type conversion. Now similarly I am writing B1 dot IFSC is equal to ABC, right. Then I am writing system dot out dot println B2 dot IFSC and system dot out dot println B1 dot balance. Let us try to understand this code. So first statement I am writing B2 dot balance is equal to 500. So B2 will update its balance to 500, right. So here it will update to 500.0. Okay. Then I am writing B1 dot IFSC is equal to ABC. Means B1 is trying to update its IFSC. What is this IFSC? It is a shared variable. So B1 is updating the IFSC to ABC, right. So B1 has updated the IFSC, but it is a shared variable, right. Now I am printing B2 dot IFSC. So what B2 will get from here? ABC, because it is a shared variable, right. So here the output will be ABC, but then I am printing B1 dot balance. Although B2 has updated its balance to 500, so do you think that B1 balance is also updated? B1 balance will not be updated because these are property of their object. You can update your instance variable, you cannot update the other's instance variable. But if you update a shared variable, class variable, it will be updated to everybody, right? So if you are printing the B1 dot balance, the B1 dot balance is still 0.0. So here you will get the 0.0, right? So there are so many examples where static variable or class variables are used generally to maintain the counters. You might have seen some counters are there running. So they are getting updated. Let's say you are having your ID card. So in your ID card, what is there? You have your own registration number, you have your own name, you have your own mobile number, you have your university name and some other things. So let us do an activity. Just try to find out your ID card and try to find out which variable, which attribute written over there in the ID card will be your class variable and which will be your instance variable, right? Please comment on this video. Let us see how many of you are getting it correctly. Thank you.